everybody. It's attorney Manny Sarah, the Rossen Law Firm. I'm here with Betty Sanchez, who is a public school teacher in Broward County. She's been a teacher for 27 years. She's taught all different sorts of grades: kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. And she has the honor and privilege of being my aunt. So it's fun to be speaking with her on this. She's very passionate about teaching, and has helped me, my brother, my cousins along the way through various side gigs, I guess you can call it, that she's had. So, and I think she's done a pretty good job. We've got some nurses, some med students, some lawyers, and an entrepreneur in the making in Jack. So Titi is what she goes by in my book, but in her classroom, she's Mrs. Sanchez. How you doing, Titi?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
No problem. It's our pleasure. A little bit of background. Obviously, teaching right now during this pandemic is not the norm. What are some of the traditional teaching methods that are most effective in your book that have kind of been a struggle to translate given what's happening right now?
Some of the traditional ones that I incorporate in my classroom, because I teach the little ones, as simple as sitting side by side with a child, reading a book with him, to him, or listening to him read. Although we can do that via the video conferencing, it's not the same as when you sit next to him and watch him or her read the words and interact in a manner where it would provide the child immediate results or immediate feedback with the word calling and the word recognition along with the comprehension. That's one of the main traditional things that is impacted by this, because it's very difficult to do that via the internet. The other thing is just this sheer interaction of having them come to the carpet and listen to stories and see them interact personally, one-on-one, or even interact with each other as we view the story or as we interact with the story. So those are some of the probably the two biggest ones that stand out in my head in terms of being able to interact with the students. That's different now.
And obviously we have some family members that teach in Miami-Dade public schools as well. And I know that every county may be a little bit different as to what are some of the guidelines during all of this. What's been going on with Broward County that you can tell everyone about? Broward
County is adamantly using a system called Canvas. That's their main platform to provide the resources and the curriculum to the students, as far as I understand, all the way from K through high school. And that platform can provide a variety of different ways to implement the curriculum depending on the level of the students. Along with that, Broward County does offer the video conferencing form known as Microsoft Teams through your Microsoft Outlook. If we are to use video conferencing, they strongly suggest us using that platform, as it probably provides an additional added measure of security.
Now, I know your son's pretty good with electronics, and Jack's been teaching me a thing or two as I get older. Was there any struggle or kind of transition for you in terms of the digital learning aspect?
I think the one thing that I struggled with was the video conferencing. I was not used to that, obviously, because I had the children available to me. Fortunately for myself, Broward County has provided many different opportunities to be trained in the platform of Canvas, which is the remote learning or distance learning platform that we are using. And I was trained in it, and I used it effectively throughout the past 2 years with my little ones, however, one-on-one in the classroom or interactively in the classroom. In terms of distance learning, there was a little different aspects that I had to learn, but those were very easy to overcome. But the video conferencing was a little more of a challenge for me, and fortunately Jack and several of his buddies helped me along with that. So it was a challenge at first. Broward County did offer a lot of in-service trainings on that as well. But you know, the eyes of our youth or that generation, they can definitely get it across faster than a video conference can or a training can. And
in reference to the live videos, how are those going about? What are some of the things you're doing with that?
We're having fun with those. I do it twice a week with my children. I can do it more if I choose to, but right now twice a week is working well with them. I know that they would probably love to see me all day, every day, but that's obviously physically impossible. But I'm using it in terms of reviewing some of the work that's being provided for them in the platform of Canvas, going through some of the activities, sharing my screen with them so that they can see how to interact with some of the remote distant learning websites that they probably didn't use prior to the COVID-19. I'm also playing different games with them interactively, such as one of the platforms is called Kahoot. I don't know if you've ever played that, but there's a lot of interactive games and different things that we're doing via the internet that they do find interactive and they love participating in. It really engages them a lot.
And in terms of the future, how do you believe that this may craft or mold education going forward? Maybe at various levels, but obviously starting from where you're at with the little ones.
That's a very, that's like the $1 million question right now. Obviously, we don't know what tomorrow brings for us, and we hope that it brings us back to where we used to be. But I think anybody can say right now that we don't know what the future is going to bring. But in terms of what we're doing right now and how we could possibly foresee it in the future, I think this opens up a major opportunity for a lot of different avenues for parents of the young ones and for the older students in high school and junior high to really think about different avenues and ways that they can impact their learning and that they can expand upon their knowledge. For example, I have a relative on my husband's side who is really seriously thinking about keeping her daughter at home next year and just doing virtual school because she is thriving in it. Some children thrive in it, some children don't. It depends on their personality, and for her, she's really thriving in it. So I can see in the future many different avenues. One could be just 100% virtual schooling for students. I can see a partial, 50-50 split, and then I can see if the child does resume back into the classroom or the classrooms, engage back the way we were, utilizing a lot more of this online education and these online websites that have been offered to Broward County during this pandemic. I have to say I commend a lot of the websites that are out there, the educational websites, because they have opened up their pathways and offer a lot of free educational tools for the students during this time. And it really has given the teachers a lot of opportunity to pull in these resources to provide a multitude of different activities and a multitude of different ways for children to learn the skills while they're at home. So I can see a bunch of different levels in terms of 0% at virtual school to 100% at virtual school and anywhere in between that. So it'll all depend on what the future brings for us.
And how much are you relying on parents as well to help assist? Because obviously you got first graders at home. It's not like they can just sit still, I'm assuming. So
yes, I send my parents love notes every day and tell them thank you very much. It does. I commend the parents. A lot of them, as we know, are out there struggling to keep their selves afloat, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, whether it is health-wise. And on top of that, their dedication to their children amazes me because they have not skipped a beat. In terms of what I'm offering to the students, my students are very capable of interacting with the Canvas website. However, some of the activities, obviously, even though I provide very strong resources to teach the skills, there are times when the parents do have to sit side by side with them and redirect them and help them. It's not an independent type learning. So the parents are actively engaged every day with their students, with their children, I should say, and they haven't skipped a beat. I think they're amazing.
And so we're about mid-May right now. Is there any word or any idea, I know you don't have a crystal ball, as to when things are going to be getting back to normal? Is the school, season, or I guess the school year, going to start timely? How does that work?
We keep hearing different thoughts, and that there's nothing set in stone yet coming out from the county. There's talk of different ways. I guess they're trying to put plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D kind of in place tentatively. to decide how it's going to work. I've heard things from we're not going back at all to we're going back full time to anywhere in between, where it would be like a week A, week B school, where half the students would come week A, half the students would come week B. I've heard days that are split in half. You have the morning session, then the children come in the afternoon session, so that you have a smaller class size. As we think about that, idealistically that works, but the reality is they're still 5 and 6 years of age, and little ones, as we know, have a very hard time keeping to a secluded situation. So I can only imagine how it's going to be in terms of the interaction. But we have not had anything set in stone. As of right now, we are going back in August, but we don't know what that looks like.
Certainly, I can share some of that sentiment when it comes to the courthouse. We're hearing different things every day as to how new operations are going to be had. Broward County, Dade, and Palm Beach are all on different schedules. It looks like Palm Beach is ready to rock and roll a little sooner than the other. It's okay. So it's almost like a sliding scale, a continuous story. So what, at the end of, kind of to summarize, what have you learned or what have you taken away from all of this that you're going to add to your teaching or even just your parenting or everything going forward in life? Because obviously it's going to change for everyone, but you've got to have a really big change happen in a career that you've been involved in for 25 plus years.
What is the biggest takeaway? Health comes first. Education is extremely important, but your health comes first. What can I take away in terms of moving forward is that you need to broaden your horizons. You need to be open-minded and look at different pathways that are available to you, and reach out when you feel you don't have the availability of whatever resources you need to go out and search, because they're out there. Like I said, I'm amazed at what has been offered to us, and it's just a simple question of can and asking and you get it. So I think the biggest takeaway is just to keep an open mind, and that education can be found in many different pathways.
PT, Betty, Mrs. Sanchez, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, and I wish you guys nothing but the best, and I hope to see you guys soon in a happy and healthy, safe environment.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.